Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have American Rebel Holdings, Inc. It trades on the NASDAQ under the symbol AREB and operates primarily as a designer and marketer of branded safes and personal security and self-defense products. The company also designs and produces branded apparel and accessories. Please welcome its CEO, Andy Ross and Corey Lambrecht. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good day, and thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to learn more about American Rebel, America's patriotic brand. We are making our impact in this rapidly growing safe market. Our brand is working, and the dealers are calling us the safe with an attitude. I can't start the American Rebel story without first talking about my father. In 1960, he started a company called Custom Electronics, manufactured music equipment, and one time was the largest manufacturer of music equipment in the country. The biggest bands like the Jackson 5 and Creedence Clearwater Revival used custom amps. They also pioneered police radar and in-car video for law enforcement. Custom was an original NASDAQ stock, and I'm proud to say that both custom amps and custom signals are still in business today. I've been blessed to have a large variety background of all kinds of great life experiences. In 2005, I started Digital Ally. Digital became a NASDAQ stock. We developed the first digital video flashlight and pioneered digital in-car video. We enjoyed tremendous early success. I'm on the original patents and also proud to say that Digital Ally is still in business today. I had the opportunity to be the host and bow hunter on the hit TV show Maximum Archery World Tour. I bow hunted the world for 10 years on the Outdoor Channel, Pursuit Channel, and Sportsman's Network. I also enjoy a great music career playing my brand of country patriotic rock and roll all over this great country. I play events like the Freedom Festival, Weekend for Our Heroes, Armed Forces Day. I play trade shows, motorcycle rallies, NASCAR races, including the NRA night race at Bristol Motor Speedway. I've been featured on the cover of several magazines, including the American Shooting Journal, where they did an 8-page story on me in the American Rebel lifestyle. And you can see the magazine in the lower right-hand corner of your page. My song Cold Dead Hand landed me on the hit TV show on the History Channel, Counting Cars, where Danny built me the Second Amendment muscle car that you can also see in the bottom of the page. My song American Rebel became the inspiration and anthem for our great company. I'd like to get started with the management team by introducing my good friend and American Rebel board member, Corey Lambrecht.
Thanks, Andy, and pleasure to be speaking with you all today, and excited that we just recently completed an uplisting to NASDAQ, which is kind of core to my background. I've taken 4 or 5 different companies up to the NASDAQ. Probably the most famous one that everyone would know of here is Smith & Wesson. Back in May 11th, 2001, I engineered the financing and the acquisition and eventually became the executive vice president and focused on firearms and turned that great company around. That was a 147-year-old brand at the time. Was also in charge of branding and, like I said, manufacturing. From those experiences, again, had the fortune of meeting some different investors who said, you know, I should meet up with Andy Ross. And when I did, you know, I kind of saw this opportunity to create this great American patriotic brand, an American Rebel. And what I really liked about Andy, which made me an investor right away, actually wrote a check, was that he has this public company DNA experience. I've got experience in this space. And if you look at this team that he's assembled here, they all have public company DNA experience. They all have experience that leverages the core assets around this particular brand to go ahead and broadcast it out there. And we're excited to be, you know, up on NASDAQ now to explaining, you know, what our vision of growth is for you guys as we tackle this particular safe market within 2A and expand our footprint going forward. So again, it's one of those companies that you got to have the right leadership, you got to have the right marketing and the right product and the right investors. And I believe it has all those things, Andy.
Thank you, Corey. I'd also like to talk about American Rebel president and board member Doug Grau. Doug was the top executive at Warner Brothers Nashville. He was in charge of discovering talent and working and developing talent. Musicians like Travis Tritt, bands like Little Texas, comedians like Jeff Foxworthy. He also produced the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. Doug has tremendous inroads to put me on TV and radio, getting millions of ears and eyeballs on our brand, our product and our stock. Would like to show you American Rebel's first product offering. The first market we got into was the concealed carry market with our American Rebel concealed carry backpacks, coats, and jackets. Concealed carry product is simply a product designed for someone who chooses to carry and to be able to do so in a safe and effective way. Our backpack, we have 4 different designs. They come in 8 different colors. And the backpacks, coats, and jackets all feature our proprietary protection pocket. The concealed carry market is over a $1 billion market. Here you see our American Rebel Black Smoke Safe line. Now this has become the flagship product for our business. The American Rebel Black Smoke Safe line has 6 different models. They come in 3 different colors. But before I go any further, I kind of want to set up the stage here for how we got here. I have a great friend named Nate Finley. I've known Nate 25 years, and Nate came to me. He ran a company called 9G Safes, and he got that company up to about 12 million in sales, and 9G Safes got bought out by Liberty Safe out of Utah. And Nate came to me on October of 2018. He said, Andy, our company's been sold. As of January 1, 2019, me and my staff are all going to be without a job if we don't want to relocate. You've got this great brand, American Rebel, America's patriotic brand, all the safe dealers and gun stores and, you know, our market, they know you, they know your brand, they know you from 10 years on outdoor TV, some know your music. How about we put American Rebel into the safe business? So Corey and I and Doug did some due diligence on the safe business, and what we learned real quick was that the safe was becoming the new home appliance. And that hit home with us. The safe's becoming the new home appliance, and the market was just exploding. And that's due to growth in new gun ownership. A lot of times when you would see violence on TVs, it would be isolated to the city, and now you kind of see it spreading into the suburbs. People are keeping more valuables at home. Nobody wants kids taking guns to school. Insurance companies are offering incentives for people who have a properly installed fire-rated safe at home. So we looked at the business and where it was going and how it was growing, and we knew we wanted to be a part of it. In short order, we now have some of the best dealers in the country carrying our American Rebel Black Smoke Safe line. Dealers like Nevada Safe, Dallas Fort Worth Safe, the Nashville Safe House, Hobby Time, and Lock It Up Safe, just to name a few. There's a long list of safe stores and gun dealers that are waiting to be a part of our patriotic family. The safe business is a $2 billion annual market and growing, and we're very happy to be a part of it. Here you see our American Rebel vault doors. Now this is again, a high growth market. It's a new market. We got into this business almost simultaneously with the safe business. And not only are vault doors used to build gun rooms and gun vaults, but they're also used for storm shelters and panic rooms. Imagine a young family, middle of the night, a storm's rolling in or someone's trying to get into the house. Simply grab the family, go into the panic room, storm shelter, shut the door. The door can only be opened from the inside unless the person on the outside knows the combination. So don't confront the danger, grab your family, keep yourself safe. This is a growing trend in new home construction to offer storm shelter and panic room options. And we are very excited to be a part of this business. Here you see our American Rebel inventory safe designed specifically for dispensaries. Dispensaries are required to lock up all their product at night by insurance and state laws, and they need 6, 8, 10, 12 of these safes in order to do that. But they need the proper lighting, proper shelving. We've even included an inventory system on the front door. Right now, as some of these dispensaries are building out bigger and bigger, they're even calling us wanting to buy vault doors and put in a vault room and then put the safe inside the vault room in order to give them double security. This whole business of selling these products to dispensaries kind of reminds me of a story my father told me about the gold rush days. He said, son, a lot of people moved out west to strike it rich in the gold rush. And some did, but a lot didn't. But the people who sold the wheelbarrows and the picks and the buckets, they all made money. So this is American Rebel's way of selling the dispensaries the wheelbarrows. The dispensary business is projected to be a $35 billion business by 2023, and we believe this is more low-hanging fruit for American Rebel. Where I went to with the slide presentation to this point is kind of where we are. I'm going to talk a little bit further about where we're going with new products and opportunity. But this is a great time to bring Corey back in and give him a chance to talk about our business.
Yeah, Andy, thanks for bringing me back in here. I think it's an important part as we talk about the existing product offerings that we have and the opportunities in the markets. Again, we recently just completed a NASDAQ uplisting that basically gave the company some much needed expansion capital. Again, we've been a little capital constrained over the last couple of years, and we believe that getting up on the NASDAQ, giving us access to the capital, will help us significantly and grow our business. And I'm sure Andy will come back in and we'll touch on the margins and the kind of price points on some of these things real quickly. But, again, with this capital, we're looking to grow our core business and our product offerings for the flagship offerings that we have here to a little over $6 million like this year. We'll be still around like break even, but then jumping up to about 19 million and a little less than 20 million next year. And again, that's with the combination of the existing suppliers that we have deep-rooted relationships with. But we also targeted within those a use of follow-on capital to maybe acquire one of those manufacturers that would increase our footprint and our retail footprint, and actually would drive our sales in 2023 to over $60 million if we are successful doing that. So we've got a robust growth strategy just within the product offerings that we have. We're in a highly allocated state with the dealers that Andy's talked about. They love the brand. They love the product. It's kind of one of those products that you don't think about, but the safe with the attitude and the new home appliance. If you think about Nest or different products that came on and revolutionized the market, or even the Dyson vacuums, I think it's one of those appliances that are there that are applicable to us for the unrest that's going. But it's important to know that, again, we're using this capital to invest in R&D, to introduce new products, to grow the existing flagship products that we have right now. And again, we've got a wide range of suggested retail pricing on those with healthy margins. And so it's a good growth opportunity for us where we stand right now with the capital that we've recently brought in.
Thank you, Corey. Part of our growth expansion plan is we've got a new facility in Topeka, Kansas. Our American Rebel showroom and sales office is in Kansas City, so this is about an hour down the way. We've got a new facility where we're actually launching a completely new line of American Rebel safes. The safes I've talked about to this point are the American Rebel Black Smoke safes. The line of safes that we're launching out of Topeka is the American Rebel Freedom safes. To give you an example, our Black Smoke safe line would be the Chevy and the Fords. The Freedom series will be our Cadillac. Here you see our factory in Kansas City. It's got everything we need to start production. In fact, we've done a pre-production. Plasma cutters, laser cutters, water jet, hydraulic brakes, CNC machines. We have both two-stage automotive paint and powder coat finish lines. And this Freedom series will round off our safe line. It'll kind of tailor to the little bit of the higher end customer, but it'll perfectly fit with our Black Smoke line. Here you see in the lower right-hand corner, one of our pre-production models that we've sent off for UL testing. It's got a little thicker steel, better finish, better features, better fire rating, an in-house proprietary design locking mechanism that I believe is a game changer. It'll give us a stronger door frame and more secure door of any of the products at our price point from our competitors. We'll be reaching out for intellectual property as well as patent protection. Talk a little bit about the market we're feeding into. Here's some statistics on background sales, background checks for the purchase of firearms. Here you see in 2020, over right at 40 million background checks for firearm purchases. And as you roll into 2021, there in March of 2021, over 4.5 million background checks for the purchase of firearms. Firearm sales directly relate to ammo sales, holster sales, and certainly safe sales as well. Going to touch just a little bit here on our marketing. We have a very unique marketing strategy. We certainly plan to do the time-tested, proven ways of marketing. But we have a very unique bullhorn, is how I like to refer to it. Whether we're out playing live events and promoting the brand, or I do a lot of radio interviews on music radio stations, conservative talk show stations. I could be talking on ABC News, Wayne Root Show, Freedom Series XM, The Trucker, Rita Cosby, music station in Tampa. And how these radio interviews work is I do the radio interview for free, but at some point in the conversation, the host has to come around and, an example might be they'd say, Andy, we know you love being out playing music and chasing the American dream, and you're a patriot. And I also understand you're the CEO of a company called American Rebel. Tell us a little about that. So it gives me an opportunity to talk about our company and our brand, and promote our company and our brand to literally tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people per interview. We also attend trade shows. I'm headed to the Illinois Deer Classic this weekend. Here in a couple 6-8 weeks, we'll be at the NRA annual convention in Houston, Texas. And our booth at a trade show, there's no doubt where the action is. There's no doubt where the excitement is. A lot of times we bring the Second Amendment muscle car that Danny made me on the History Channel. I might play an acoustic song or two, but we definitely have the crowd, we have the brand, we have the attitude. People are in our booth taking selfies and pictures, buying our products, wearing our hats and shirts up and down the aisles. And we are definitely the hot spot at any given trade show. And I know Corey wants to talk a little bit about our marketing strategy, and so I'll bring Corey back in.
Yeah, I love this slide, and particularly I always look at that bottom right corner because, when I was executive vice president of Smith & Wesson, we would go to trade shows. I mean, we're Smith & Wesson, a well-known brand with, over 80%, 87% unaided brand awareness, but we never had this sort of a crowd like at a booth that American Rebel attracts with its products, its attitude, and people want to join and be a part of that lifestyle. And again, if you make good quality products and you're authentic in this particular space, then it translates to all the dealers in the dealer network that's out there. And what I said before, again, the safe, what Andy talked about, the safe being the new home appliance. And I mentioned a couple other consumer product companies, and I have a lot of background in consumer product and brand launch as well, too. I really see it as a parallel to, kind of how Yeti cooler went out there, too, a professional grade, again, the right sort of cooler that everyone wanted to get out there. And I think we have those opportunities, creating these innovative products in this space that are addressing a need that's out there, but leveraging on this unique marketing strategy where, again, most people don't have this, where you're led by the CEO up front and a brand that people can relate to. And like I said, they want to wear the hats. They want to be part of the American Rebel story. And that's what makes this so exciting. Again, we've got pent-up demand at these dealers. Again, what's interesting about that slide, those aren't just consumers, those are dealers. So those are storefront owners, or the 130,000 FFL dealers and other dealers that are out there that represent products. And each one of those guys could purchase maybe $250,000 or $500,000 worth of safes. And we have plenty of dealers that American Rebel has cultivated the relationship with. Like I said, we've been in a capital constrained environment where we just haven't been able to supply the product. And we can alleviate that now with some of the capital that we have and fulfill those orders, which is why we're, so excited about the growth that we have in front of us, just meeting the demand we have and then continue growing the footprint. But again, that bottom right slide represents, I look at those people, and each one of those people represents customers to me that have the ability to stock inventory and sell it out in their particular markets. And so it's a really exciting time to be a part of American Rebel.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Corey. I understand they have a couple questions for us and staying on our timeline here.
Yes, sorry, I couldn't get my volume to start. Yes, gentlemen, we do have some questions for you. From Chris Hampton, he asks, how do you plan on expanding the brand into other product offerings?
So there's two ways to expand the brand. One, we obviously we have a background in designing product and bringing good product to market. So we'll always be developing and designing things for this space and the American Rebel, to put the American Rebel brand on. But a big part of our big strategy is licensing. And, I don't particularly, I'd like to see American Rebel wheelbarrows and American Rebel beer and American Rebel truck hitches and American Rebel racing parts, American Rebel saddles. But I don't necessarily want to make those things. I want to engineer and design things that are really in my lane. But we plan on doing a licensing program. When we get the brand out, other companies will want to be a part of our patriotic family. They might want to introduce an American Rebel model of something they're already doing. And we're already doing licensing. We've got a few things in the works already. We haven't quite got it signed off or been able to disclose it yet. So I'll just have to keep that to myself for today. But we are going to be aggressive both in engineer, design, and licensing products around this brand.
Great. Andre T asks, how do you set your products apart from your competitors?
Well, that's again, that's coming back to design. My dad always told me to build products, if you're going to put your brand on them and put your name on them, to make sure they're quality, that it's always better to explain price than it is to make excuses for quality. We've always put out great products. If you look at my family's history, we've put out good quality products at a fair price. We get innovative with design. We don't just sit back and do what everybody else is doing. And I think our new locking mechanism on our Freedom Line safes is a great example of that. And then all of that being said, we also, part of our brand is we're selling attitude. And that's part of the American Rebel brand. We're selling attitude. If use maybe Harley Davidson for an example, if somebody walked in today, anybody walked into a Harley Davidson store today, bought a motorcycle, a jacket, and some sunglasses and boots, they could ride down the street 2 blocks, pull over for fuel, and somebody would go, "Hey, that's a Harley guy." They've bought they've bought a motorcycle, and they've also bought into the brand and bought into the attitude. American Rebel has quality products, innovative products, but they're also getting a brand and an attitude that appeals to them, that comes with that at no charge.
Awesome. Al Sharp asks, how do you tie radio and TV interviews and live events into your marketing?
Sorry, you cut out for me. One more time, please.
Sorry. How do you tie radio and TV interviews and your live events into your marketing?
Well, we're always promoting the brand on the radio, at live events. Everything. I think the way to describe it best is the music and the TV things we did, and the radio interviews and the things I was doing. I was doing those things before American Rebel. So when we designed American Rebel, and as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, I actually had a song out called American Rebel that became a patriotic anthem, and we named the company after the song. So we actually built the brand to fit in to everything I was already doing, versus a company starting a brand and then trying to decide how to market it. We already had all the marketing going. We already had this big megaphone, this big stage, if you will. And we built the brand specifically to feed right into it. So there's not anywhere we go or anything we do or going up and down the highway. There's nothing we do that doesn't also bring the brand with us and promote the brand.
Great. Question from Neil Palmer. Where do you manufacture your products, your safes, your bags? And are you seeing any supply issues, labor issues, anything like that?
So our vault doors are made here in the U.S. in a Utah factory. Our line of Freedom safes will be making, as we said, in Topeka, Kansas. Our current black smoke safe lines are manufactured in Mexico. We do utilize U.S. steel, and we will take the opportunity at some point to bring that manufacturing into the U.S. as well. When we get the volume gets up and we get the factory running in Topeka and we get our flow down. The question of supply problems, that's a question. I wish I could say I had a crystal ball, and I wish I could take just tons of credit for this. I just have to, just a blessing for us. But any out of the country manufacturing we've decided to do it in Mexico using U.S. steel versus doing it overseas, say in China. China got hit with tariffs, very expensive tariffs on steel. They got hit with freight problems. They have freight issues. They have supply chain problems getting stuff into the country. And a lot of our competition, a big part of our competition is struggling. Not only are they struggling to get product into the country, but then when they get it into the country, it's way overpriced for what the consumer is getting. The product that we do have made in Mexico is 10 minutes across the border, again, manufacturing with U.S. steel, and we have no problems getting it in the country, and we have no freight problems, shipping problems. So we've really had some good fortune in that decision. We made that decision before even COVID. So we've been a big benefactor of that great decision that was made years ago.
Great. We have a question from Boyd Canner. He loves the products and the brand, but what's the plan to 10 times the sales? Is it just a matter of raising more funds? Also, how much did you raise in your last round and at what valuation?
I'll take the first part of that and then hand the second part there to Corey. But how we talked about launching the Freedom line. We've talked about continuing to design and launch new products around this 2A space. We have a handful in the works as we speak. We talked about licensing to do the growth that he's talking about. But the biggest piece of that, which we really haven't talked about, is we do have some strategic acquisition targets in sight. Let me give you a generic, and this is completely generic, but let me give you a generic example. Let's say, for instance, that we bought a nice revenue producing, reasonably good, profitable knife company. Okay, just as an example, we could take that company, continue to run it, continue to promote that brand, but also put out the American Rebel knives. So when we buy a brand, if someone else buys a brand, they just buy a brand. When we buy a brand, we immediately enhance the brand and enhance the revenue by putting out the American Rebel models, and then marketing it through our marketing strategy, marketing it through our dealers, and continuing to market their brand through their dealers. So we kind of double up every time we do an acquisition. But an acquisition strategy is very much on our thought process as we filed in our S1 when we did our capital raise. We do have some strategic acquisition targets, and we've been working diligently on that since we became a NASDAQ company. And Corey, if you'll take the second part of that.
Well, and I'll be quick about it, but I think what I love most about that question is he loves the product, right? And I think a lot of people love the products and they love the brand and what we stand for, and hopefully they're great shareholders too as we move forward. So we raised capital at a little over $4 a share. We raised about a little over $12 million that enabled us to uplist the NASDAQ. That was part of our overall strategy. Again, one, to increase our product footprint and grow sales, right? How are you going to 10x the growth, I think was one of the questions. Well, just organically, because we are so capital constrained and we had so much pent up demand. I mean, Andy has plenty of stories with the great dealers and they're storefront owners in different markets around the country, that would say, hey, we triple our sales order if you could get us the product we needed. And that's why we grabbed the capital that we did so we could fulfill those orders moving forward. And as I had mentioned earlier, we're looking at growing to about 6.6 million like this year and to a little under 20 million just with the organic products that we have, the current products that we're manufacturing that are here, and that doesn't include acquisition targets. And again, if we're successful with an acquisition target that's very strategic to us, not only would that increase our manufacturing throughput, it would give us some more retail exposure and would give us some more SKUs as well. So it's well thought out. Andy has a well thought out strategy in place on how to grow this business and leverage the capital to go ahead and keep putting out great products with attitude, leveraging that American Rebel brand. So really excited about that.
To touch on something Corey said, we have our dealer base right now, we've tried to keep it to a number of dealers that we can feed product to. There's no need to put on a bunch of dealers, have them give us orders and disappoint them. But every dealer we have could either double to quadruple the amount of product that they're selling of our safes right now. And then to add that to the fact that there is a very, 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 very long list of dealers that are waiting to come on as American Rebel dealers. So for us, it's a matter of getting it manufactured and putting it in a box and getting it shipped. The demand is high.
That's great. Do you, Elsa Black wants to know if you currently have a credit line that will finance orders?
We don't have a credit facility for our setup at this time. We've been approached by a couple of different groups to offer to see if we want to talk about and sit down and go over, putting together a credit facility for the company. We haven't put it together yet at this time, but we do look at opportunity. Let's just say that.
Okay. Drew Reed asks, can you tell us where your marketing and customer acquisition costs go in relation to sales? Is it a direct relationship where the more you spend, the more you sell? Or do you see marketing costs coming down?
That's a great question, and I'm very happy to have a great answer for it. And that great answer is we haven't really spent much money, if any, on marketing. We went to a couple trade shows. We just haven't had to do any marketing. The guys that came over from 9G, they've got a Rolodex forever of dealers that gun stores, safe stores that carry our product. They told them we were launching a new line. They told them what we were going to do down the road. They were correct. A lot of them do know me from the 10 years on outdoor TV and some of the things I've done. And they love the name, they love the brand, and they started putting the safes on the floor, and they started selling through the store. And we haven't really done any marketing. We haven't even delivered banners for the store windows to this point. So we can only anticipate that our marketing is just going to increase the demand, increase the brand, and increase the awareness. But we're just really getting started. We haven't even put a social media campaign together. We'll be here in April. We're talking with a couple of different groups about starting an American Rebel social media campaign, doing some social media advertising, doing some target marketing. So we've been blessed with all these sales and all this demand for very little marketing effort. Just the brain, everything we thought was going to work worked. So we haven't had to do a lot. Go ahead, Corey.
Oh, and I think, Andy, just real quickly, one thing I want to add to that. What I find really intriguing is this unique marketing strategy that we have in this event marketing style. I mean, every dollar that we put in, we're actually, I believe we're getting 3 or 4 times, because we're leveraging the brand, we're leveraging the products, increasing the exposure in a way that allows us to look for other products that we want to put in. So I think there's a multiple factor on this as we get ramped up and get going, and it's going to be an amazing 2022 for American Rebel and 2023 for sure.
Great, thank you. Question from Kenny Austin. Can you or are you working on any co-brand partnerships with like-minded brands, Harley, Indian, Glock?
Working on it. Are we thinking about it? Yes. Are we working on it? I wouldn't say we've necessarily begun to work on it, but it is something that's on our mind. We have had a couple people knock on our door. Maybe in a week or two, I might be able to talk about a couple of specifics. We haven't disclosed a couple of the things that have come our way in the last week. So, but yes, it is on our mind, and I'm sure will be a big opportunity for us, and there'll be opportunity down the road, I'm sure.
Great. We do have some feedback from Rick Daniels. He uses your products and he's been happy with them. He does say one thing that can help increase sales is more product detail videos. And you do have some videos of your products in use, but it's hard to find detail videos. So there you go.
That is a great observation. In today's marketing, that is so important and so necessary. And that's what I was talking about just a little bit earlier, that here in the month of April, we're going to be working with, we've kind of boiled it down to the social media company that we want to work with, doing the video clips, getting them on the internet, getting them on YouTube, getting them on places even like TikTok and Instagram, and producing a lot of that content. We've been so busy with business that just came at us, getting the capital raise done, getting uplisted, and as Corey has said, been capital restraint. But that is coming soon, and appreciate the observation.
Great. The last question I'll combine from Yvonne Wilkins and Mike Duncan. Tell us a little bit about, just sum up American Rebel and tell us the future of American Rebel in your words to close. Well,
American Rebel is on its way to be how I opened the presentation, America's patriotic brand. American Rebel is a lifestyle brand. I want Susie to go to Mom one day and say, Mom, what's Dad want for Father's Day? And I want her to say, well, honey, what's anything with American Rebel on it? That's when we'll know we've become the lifestyle brand and the company that we've set out to be. And that's the bottom line. That's the goal to get to, is to become America's patriotic brand, to become a lifestyle brand. And everything we do and every ounce of energy we put into this company is working that way. We've got our head down on this safe business. This safe business is growing way too fast, and we're too good at it. We've got a great hot hand in it. The vault doors, we are focused. So don't think for a second we're not focused on the bird in hand. But the big picture is to become America's patriotic brand. And everything we do and every move we make is not only to sell safes or sell concealed carry products or the next product, but it's for the big picture of building that lifestyle brand. And that's where we're headed.
Great. Well, thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. This was a fantastic presentation. Please join us again in the future with some updates.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. What a great conference we had today. Such thrilling presenters. Thank you all for joining us. Now, remember, in just a minute, you're going to be redirected to the registration page for the next conference. So stay on and reserve your spot early. On behalf of all of us at Emerging Growth, I'd like to thank all of our presenters and attendees for making this Emerging Growth Conference such a big success. Remember that a complete replay of this conference, separated by company, will be made available on the Emerging Growth Conference YouTube channel, youtube.com/Emerging Growth Conference. So please subscribe. Also, follow us on Twitter @EmergingGrowthC. We post all new information on Twitter first. I'm Anna Berry, and on behalf of myself and everyone who made this event possible today, I wish you all a healthy, happy, safe, and successful 2022. We'll see you on the next conference. Thank you all for watching.